स्टैट की क्लास में बार बार बंद होता है.
Good morning, ma'am.
So you can join with your video if you can. Right?
Yes, ma'am. I'll just turn it on in a second.
Yeah, it's okay. Once we begin, you may do so. You got your study material? You got your study material? What the volumes? For Google and maths also. Can you repeat your name? Translation. Agreement, you joined new. You weren't there for the year-long course, right?
No, ma'am. For the crash course.
Yeah, so you come on the So you're finished with your exams. You're from commerce or science?
I'm from the science stream. I'm finished with my boards. The results will be out later, but
Yeah. Oh. Good. And Mansi? I'm in first year. First year science. So did you appear for IPM earlier? Yes. You did. Okay. What's your okay? What was your score like last week? 7. So that you studied on your own?
Like I joined the classes but doing online. Only online because I got chat.
Yeah. It becomes something. Thank you. You'll see the screen now? और इसका कैमरा कौन सा है? दोनों आएंगे ना? ब्लैक बोर्ड और इसका दोनों कर देंगे। इसमें आ रहा है?
I can't hear you, ma'am. Could you repeat?
No, it's okay. I wasn't talking to you.
Okay.
तीनों दोनों कैमरे तो नहीं चलेगा। अब बोर्ड वाला रखो और इसमें तो वैसे भी फ्रंट वाला रहेगा ना लैपटॉप। So, Rima, you prepared for JE also?
No, ma'am, I couldn't appear for the January session since my boards were starting from the first week of Feb.
Hello, good morning, Pani.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. So, how did your exams go?
It was good.
We will just wait a couple of minutes till everybody else joins in.
Yes.
They're supposed to come. They choose between offline and on and on and on.
So the crash course batch and the regular batch together.
Yeah, this is for everybody, for the regular batch and who are joining. So will you cover the entire portion?
It's actually I know the portion.
Yeah.
So I did not give the exam. But and that I was in jail also.
Okay.
But the thing is something like which. Like right now I can talk, but while questions, it is less than 1 minute time. If I have to go through again.
Yeah, so reading and then
Yes, reading comprehension was a bit hard for me last time.
okay.
Understanding and then properly stating it was all.
So you are at an advantage that you have already taken the exam once, you know how it is. So you have an idea of the difficulty level, of the time that goes in, even the pattern, the types of questions. So this will be for you just to grasp the say the nitty-gritties of how to attempt the questions. So that will help you. And of course, practice now. Okay, this is for everybody whoever has joined till now. Have you been practicing till now? Fine. Or forgotten everything?
I was practicing.
You were practicing?
Yes.
Good. So the main thing is practice, and now the crash course that we are going to have is you're going to have daily classes. So 4 hours, 4.5 hours classes every day. And after that, you have to keep up with your practice. Yeah, revision, practice, whatever rules we do, keep doing that. And we'll be giving you practice sheets, and you have enough questions in your book also. So try to practice as much as possible. So, Grima, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me what are your strengths in English?
Actually, I haven't written any of the past IPM 80 tests, so I can't say from that perspective.
So, do you have any idea of the pattern of the IPM test?
Yeah, I have a basic idea that there's the math section, the logical reasoning, and then there's the verbal ability. In that also you'll have, I think, MCQs and short answers and I think long answers.
So, between say the different IIMs, the IIM Rohtak and IIM Indore, there's a little difference in the paper pattern.
Okay.
So, when you are writing, the IIM Rohtak exam will come first. IIM Indore will come later on.
Yeah.
20th May is Rohtak. You registered for that?
I've actually registered for the Indore one. The Rohtak one I haven't till now.
Okay, Rohtak one you have to register because before you have to check first that when is the last date.
Yeah,
So,
it's I think 9th April or something.
9th April. So I think you should register right away.
Yeah.
Because you have the more exams you give, the better the chance.
Yes.
Now, IIM Rohtak has an individual exam. The IP match for Indore that you will be appearing for will cover Ranchi, Gaya, I think Nirma University, and a few more. Like when, if you haven't registered for symbiosis, then maybe you could do that also. Yeah, Nursimonji symbiosis. So the more exams you appear for, at least somewhere you will get a chance because it's competitive.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Sneha. Good morning.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
So, Sneha, do you remember what we did last night?
Sorry,
Sneha, can you hear me?
ma'am, your voice is breaking.
Voice is breaking. Pai, can you hear me clearly? Just tell me if you can hear me properly.
Yes, now we can.
Rima, can you hear me properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, ma'am, I can.
Yes, Sneha,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes, yes.
We have a little bit of an internet connection problem, but it's unstable sometimes. Okay, Sneha, I was asking you, do you remember whatever you did last time?
No, ma'am.
No, forgotten everything, all washed away.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have to start afresh with every single thing. Okay, doesn't matter. So I think we can begin. At least few of you are there, and it's already there. So, Venus and Rahul. Hello, Rahul. Good morning. Rahul, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I'm audible.
So Rahul, If you are in only for the crash course,
IPM.
yeah. So, hello. So, can I? Yes, so Adesh, how did your exams go? Nice. Nice. Okay, Adesh, I think you must be remembering whatever you did in the also the year. Not much. It's been a long time and you all have been busy with exams also. So obviously we don't expect you to remember everything, right? Anyway, so what we'll do is, I hope everyone can hear me up there.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I won't be able to stand too long. That's why I have this Google device going on. So now, okay, so whether you remember what we did earlier or not, doesn't matter. So now first thing, you have to be all prepared to work very hard. Yeah. Not a single day, not a single hour of wasting any. Because you have just 1 month to prepare, 1 month and maybe a few modules. Yeah. So in about a month, we will be completing your course so that you have enough time for the mock test. Because you need practice. And with each mock test, we want to see improvement. So by the time you get your finals, that is all the exams that you're going to take, you should be thoroughly prepared. Right? And to be thoroughly prepared, you have to put in double there. And because it's a crash course, we don't have time to go on. Hello. 10 minutes late. 10, almost 15. Okay. So now, just to recap what the exam is about. So when we're talking about, I'm Nandini, by the way, those who haven't met me earlier. So I'm Nandini and I'll be taking you through part of the verbal evidence section. And the other part will be taken by, it will be running parallelly. 3 days I'll be coming, 3 days Deepshika ma'am will be coming. I think she took comprehension. So she'll be taking part of it so that the whole course is completed in time. So now when you're talking about IP MAT, or for the matter, any of the other exams, whether you're doing symbiosis or nursing or GE, first thing is knowing the fundamentals of the language. Yeah, and it's not only language, it's more of your analytical skills. Even if you don't know the language, even if you don't know a word, you should be able to analyze it. So, as you know, all the questions that you've done so far are not just testing your English, but testing your analytical skills. So when we talk about analytical skills, you have to be very quick in your thinking. So you have to sharpen your thinking. So if you don't know an answer, if you see there's a difficult word coming in, or there's a grammar rule coming in, you don't know it. So what do? At least attempt, try, think. Yeah. So when you are practicing, attempt all questions so that you know where you are going wrong and you can learn from your mistakes. That is very important. And coming to the marks that you all know, it's +4 -1. Yeah. So when you say +4 -1, there's that problem that, okay, you may lose a mark here and there, but you have to be very careful not to lose, right? So when you're talking about the IPM indoor test pattern, you have to remember how many questions you have to attempt. There's no choice. You have to attempt all of them. Yeah. And your time limit is there. So the quantity, and you can see. Right. So when you talk about indoor, it's the quantitative ability. We are talking about the last year's paper that had come. There was a surprise element. Instead of 40 questions in verbal ability, it was 45 questions. This year, we don't know, it may go up to 50. Okay? So the total time is 2 hours. It is 40 minutes per section. And your weightage is 50 for verbal ability, 50 for the math section. That is the quantitative ability, both MCQs and essay book. Right? So you can't say that I'm good at maths, so I can ace it. Not good at math. You have to take both of them or put equal stress on both maths and verbal. Right? And another thing you have to remember is that they even look at your sectional scores. So when they are looking at your sectional scores, it's important to score well in all of them. Otherwise, you'll lose out. Yeah. It's not only the total score, but sectional scores also count. So when you are looking at Rohtak, 3 sections, there's a quantitative aptitude, all MCQs here, logical reasoning and verbal ability, all 40 questions, 40 minutes each section. Till now, they may have a surprise element coming in, we don't know, right? So till now, whatever exists, that much will come. Now, when you're talking about the weightage in IP Math, especially IP Math indoor, as I told you, 50-50 for all of them. So 25 for quantitative ability, MCQs, verbal ability 50, and quantitative ability, the short answers, again 25. Now, when you're talking about the short answers, there's no negative marking for that. So try to attempt all of them, no matter what. Yeah. MCQs you have to be a little bit. Yeah. Okay, now when you're talking about the verbal ability section, the question types that you come across, you've done them earlier also. Yeah. So there's sentence completion, paragraph completion, sentence arrangement, reading comprehension, which has about 2 passages. There'll be 8 to 10 questions, or maybe even 12 questions sometimes. The phrase substitution, idioms, synonyms, antonyms as a vocabulary, very important. Analogies, there also vocabulary comes in. Sentence improvement, that's where your grammar comes in. And sentence improvement is actually the easiest part. Where if you know your grammar, you can get all of it correct. So about 4 to 5 questions, or in Rohtak, they are even more. Rohtak maybe they are about 6 to 8 questions. Okay? So these are what you will be coming across. Now, I'll just, before we begin, we must know how to go about a test. Yeah. So you know your enemy, you know how to tackle your enemy. Right? So you want to overcome all obstacles, all challenges, you want to know how to tackle. So first thing is, when you, like in the verbal section, you get long sentences, yeah, passages. So what do? Simplify things. You have a complex sentence, break it down, simplify. Look at what is important. Like when we're talking about grammar, if the question is about verb, look at the verb, what it is doing. If you have a, say, paragraph completion, so break the paragraph down. What is each sentence talking about? So first strategy is break down, simplify. Yeah. And then eliminate anything that is not the answer. Now, in the multiple choice questions, if something is difficult, if you're not sure about it, maybe don't attempt it, right? Or you have the option of marking it for review, getting back to it. So mark it for review, get back to it after you've completed the rest. But don't submit unless you're very sure. Because 25% negative marking will lose. Say maybe you got 10 questions correct, but you got 5 wrong. 5 marks gone. Right? Now for the short answer questions, as I said, no negative marking, or any of the theta question, that is where the options are not given. Any question where you have to write your answer, attempt it. Even if it's wrong, it's okay, attempt it. So maybe by fluke it comes right. Yeah. And of course, as I said, when you're practicing, attempt everything. See where you're going wrong. What are your weak points? Improve on them. Yeah. Learn from your mistake. That is one very important thing that we forget. Then you analyze. When you're learning from your mistakes, what do you do? What did you get wrong? Analyze. Why did you get it wrong? So, and write it down. Make one section of your notebook should be wrong answers. Right? 2 sections of your notebook. One where you write everything else. Rules, important concepts. Another section of your notebook. What are the questions you attempted wrong? What was the concept? Why did you get it wrong? And what is the right answer? Right? And when you are revising, go back. Okay, these were my weak points. I have to improve on them. Did I improve on them? Did I get a similar question correct this time? And the rest. So that will help. Now you will not be able to practice all questions that you get. Yeah, maybe even in your book you haven't finished all of them. And okay, those who were there for the, so have you taken all the class tests till now? You missed a few. So make sure you complete those. Yeah. Okay, and when you are practicing, you got an answer right. See whether it was by fluke or you knew what you had. So justify your answer. This is very important. So this is the main part of your learning process. You will be practicing, will be doing a lot of questions, but just doing the questions and taking a guess is not enough. You should know why you got the answer wrong and why you got the answer right. So justify your answer. And we need speed with accuracy because you have a time limit. 40 questions, 40 minutes. Now it's not that one. So some questions will take more than 1 minute. Some will take less than 1 minute. So the grammar questions, if you see, how long do they take? You've done them? About 30 to 40 seconds maximum. So you save on those questions where you say, now you have the comprehension passage coming first. Yeah, you'll always have the comprehension passage coming first. And that's going to take the maximum amount of time. But even then, you have to say there are 6 questions to the comprehension passage or 5 questions. So 5 plus 2, 7 minutes, not more than that. If you have taken more than 7 minutes in your comprehension passage, you won't be able to finish the rest of the questions. Yeah. So the grammar questions take less time. Vocabulary questions take less time. So try when you are practicing, you have to form a strategy. Any vocabulary question, any grammar question, time yourself 30 seconds. So 6 vocabulary questions. How much time did you save? 3 minutes. That 3 minutes goes into comprehension, your para jumpers, which are very complicated. Yeah, para completion. So you have to be able to form your strategy. Each one has a different strategy. Maybe vocabulary is a strong point for you. Maybe for somebody, grammar is a strong point. Analytical skills are very strong. So work on your skills, right? So we need speed and accuracy, as I said. And suppose you are and never get stuck on a question. If you think that, okay, 30 minutes passed, you are not getting the answer, move on to the next one. Mark it as review question, move. Mark an answer and mark it as review. Move on to the next. And then you get back to all the reviews. So when you are at the end of the exam, all the review questions will come out. So go back to them one by one, complete them as much as possible, but take a calculated risk, not a wild risk. That is important, right? Okay, so yeah, and if you have doubt that, okay, I don't think this is the right answer, but should I mark it or not? Don't mark it, leave it. It's better to leave it than get a minus one. Okay? If you are, say, 75% sure, maybe you can take a risk. But 50%, right? And of course, time management and practice is important. So every single day now this is a war for you, right? So if it's a war for you, there is nothing that has to come to you. Yeah. So you have to be able to crack it. Okay. So when we're talking about grammar-based questions, so direct grammar questions are in the comprehension also, you will have some grammar-based questions. You'll have sentence improvement questions. So about, we may take it as about 10 to 12 in general when we talk about all the exams. So some specific exam may have 6, some may have 8, some may have 10, some more. So about, as I said, 30 to 40 seconds for each of them, right? Okay, now you can pick up your pencils, open your notebooks, right? So I will quickly take you through the grammar rules. So about 4 sessions we will devote to the grammar rules, so that we are to follow with this, right? So 4 or 3 sessions if we can complete and 3 sessions good enough. So I hope everyone can see the screen properly. Agrima, Pahi, Rahul.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Aditya, can you have your video on? Okay, everyone, now please have your video on. So I can see you and we can interact properly. Right? Thank you. Rahul, if you don't have any problem, yes, thank you. Aditya, have you joined from the UT class or from home?
From home, ma'am.
Oh. Okay, so now everybody, isko bolte hain kamar kas ke, right? So now when we are going through the grammar concepts, remember that you have to revise and remember each of the concepts. There is no way that you can get a grammar question wrong, right? So grammar questions, you know, at least 5 questions or 6 questions or no matter how many questions you get, all of them will be correct. Yeah, you have to keep that in mind. Okay, now the first concept that we are going to do is pronoun agreement. Everyone knows what pronouns are, right? Words you use for nouns to replace nouns. Yeah. Now, what we need is, so now, yeah, if I say noun to which the pronoun refers to is called an antecedent. Now we don't have to remember what an antecedent is or the word. You just have to remember that each pronoun should match with the noun it is referring to. There should be no, now the questions you will get is, may have a pronoun given to you, but it is, you don't know which noun it is referring to. Yeah, that can happen. Now, when you're talking about pronouns, they should agree with the nouns in person, number, and gender. Write it down. Pronoun to noun. It should match in person, number, and gender. What do you mean by person? So first person, second person, or third person. Right? Number, singular or plural. Gender, whether it's female, feminine, male, or neutral. So when you're talking about a thing, it's neutral, right? So first thing, plural nouns require plural pronouns. Singular nouns, singular pronouns, right? So when you look at the pronouns, when you talk about people, you'll use he or she as singular, yeah, and plural, this will always be they. In they, you don't have he or she, right? And when you talk about possessive, is or her and they. When you talk about things, say I talk about your desk, say it, and lots of desks, they, right? And possessive, it's ITS. Now this is another very important word, which is always tested in some form or the other. ITS and IT apostrophe. What's the difference?
ITS is possessive for IT apostrophe is.
It is. Yeah. So ITS without an apostrophe is possessive. IT apostrophe S is it is. Yeah. So we are going to do a few things, a few rules, which are very important to get your answers right. They versus it. So singular, you will use it. Plural is they. Yeah. Now, sometimes we have certain words which are used as singular, collective nouns. Yeah. Say the city council, the government. These are always used as singular. You don't say government, or if you say governments, then it becomes plural. But the government is singular. The jury, singular, right? So you have to remember which are the collective nouns that you use as singular. Now you can go through the list. I will just take you through the rules now. So you can search the internet, make a list of collective nouns, right? So there are lots of lists that you will get, just copy, paste, or write it down to remember better. So say we talk about the city council. You look at the first. Here. The city council, finally, when the city council finally voted, it was won out. So we are using the pronoun it because city council is a collective noun. It will come in as singular. Now, when you say the members of the city council, that is singular or plural? Plural. Yeah. So the city council members, they, right? They were won out. So when any noun comes in as singular, check the pronoun and the verb. We'll come to verbs later. Yeah. So if you look at here also, was, this is the verb, right? Verb, that's the verb. So singular, now these go together. Singular nouns, singular pronouns, singular verb. Plural nouns, plural pronoun, plural verb. Right? Now another important thing is usage of one and you in a sentence. So whenever you have a sentence and you find one coming in any part of the sentence, see what the next part of the sentence is from. Say if one goes to the movies, one will likely spend more than $10. Right? So one and you, if these words come in one part of the sentence, it should be repeated in the second part of the sentence. So both parts should have one, or both parts should have two. You can't interchange. You can't say if one runs 5 miles every day, you will become fit. Either you will say if one runs 5 miles every day, one will become fit, or if you run 5 miles every day, you will become fit. Right? So this is very important. So whenever you see these words, remember to check what is in the other part of the sentence. Now it may be that you are given, it comes up in say any one part may be wrong, or maybe some other word has come up. Now the famous its versus it apostrophe s, as we said, its is possessive singular pronoun. It apostrophe s means it is. Never get confused between them. Right? In a hurry, you may overlook. So a whole sentence is written, one little word its, you may overlook. Apostrophe hai ki nahi hai. So be very careful. Say we have the sentence. When the university opened its doors in the early 20th century, only 1,000 students were enrolled. So ITS means possessive. Whose doors? University's doors. Okay. Just a I hope you can see the screen now. Right? So everyone online, I hope my voice is clear.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm sitting down, not able to stand much. Okay, so when you're talking about the university opened its doors, what opened its doors? The university, right? So when you have to see what the its refers to. Now in the second sentence, when you spend a long time at the beach, it apostrophe s, it's imperative to wear sunscreen. Is it referring to something or somebody? No. Yeah, it is. That will be it is. Okay, now if you look at that versus who, we get a little confused whether to use that or whether to use who. So when do we use that? When we are talking about something which is not say an inanimate object, yeah, or maybe even an organization, we use that. Who? When we refer to a person, usually person or people. Now let's look at this sentence. Coaching can be difficult for people that have a hard time planning strategy on the field. Is that correct?
No.
No. What should we use? Who?
Who?
With people, we will not use that. With people, we will use who. So you have to remember, whenever you come across with that and who, what is it referring to? Now this, that, and which, they have they should also have clear nouns or a subject that it is referring to. Okay, now if we look at the words I, we, you, he, she, it, they, we get confused sometimes. Now they should also have a specific or subject that they are referring to. Like I gave the packet to him, right? So I is a pronoun. You're referring to yourself. You are the subject. Gave it to. Will you say he or him? Him, right? Now she gave a rose to me. Is that correct? Right? Or will you say she gave a rose to I? She gave a rose to me. So there's a difference between the usage of I and me. When are you using I? When you are the subject. You use me when you are the object. Yeah. So here in your second sentence, she is the subject. Me becomes the object. Right? Okay. Now let's look at this one. We are faster than they are fast. Is that correct? So it will be rather written as we are faster than they. Or will we say we are faster than them?
Them.
That's why I put this sentence in. We will say we are faster than them. They are faster than us will be correct. But we are now when you are comparing, you will go with the recessive one. We are faster than them will be incorrect. It will be we are faster than they. So when you are comparing, you will go with they, not them. Right? So here if you see why we are using they, we are fast, they are also fast, but we are faster. They are not as fast as us. So you get we and they. Right?
Would it be wrong to say we are faster than they are?
Yeah, we can say they are. Yeah. So if you want clarity, expand the sentence. Say if this we are looking at this, we are faster than they are. We won't say we are faster than them are. So if you expand your sentence, you will get clarity. Right? Okay, now we come to I versus me.
Ma'am,
Yes.
but for the remaining cases, for example, we take she or her. So will we also use we are faster than or I am faster than she or I am faster than her? Which one will
I'm
be
faster than he. Grammatically, we are talking about grammatical. In usage, we do use, but then that is not grammatically correct. Right?
it should be
So
she.
expand it. I am faster than he is. Right? So when you are saying, will you say him is?
No, ma'am.
No. So whenever you are in confusion, expand the sentence a little. So the trick is that, okay, what is the now if you say I am faster than the other boys, then the boys will be replaced with they. Right? So you any confusion, expand the sentence and see which word is coming in. Okay? Okay, now this I said earlier also. I and me. I is used as the subject, me comes in as the object. And usually, like if you in a sentence you see what is coming before the verb. I comes before the verb, me comes after the verb. Right? Like I went to the store. I is your subject. Went, your verb. and then whatever you did. It is I who went to the store. Is that correct? Simplify it. Remove the it is. What do you get? You remove it is. I went to the store. Yeah, same thing. Mom bought me a snack, or mom bought I a snack. Me a snack. Right? Mom bought a snack for me. So you are the subject over here. Sorry, you are the objects over here. Right? Now let's look at some more questions. Let's look at this one. Yeah. The snobby girl thinks she's above my family and I, but she's not. Is that correct?
Object.
It should be me, I think.
Yeah, it should be me. Now the snobby girl thinks she's above my family and I. So here, the snobby girl thinks fine. When you're talking about my family, you are coming in, right? Okay, now let's look at this. Susie and me are best friends, that will be correct? I am Susie's friend, right? So Susie and I. The boys and I want to take a vacation this summer. Again, the boys and I, you both are the subjects. Yeah. Now, when we talk about you as the object, means somebody is doing something to you. You become the object. So you in this case, are you after the verb? You are before the verb. So I will come. If you are after the verb, me can come.
Let me check. I'm facing the check. I want to take a vacation with the
Right.
boys.
I want to take a vacation. The boys also want to take a vacation. Yeah. So the strategy: break the sentence, simplify, see what comes in. I comes in, me comes in. Right? Okay. Give the recipe to Jim and me, and we'll cook a delicious breakfast. Here, who will cook? Jim will cook. You are giving the, now here if you see, here's your verb. Give the recipe, so somebody is giving to you. So what comes in? Me or I? Right? So you look for the verb, look for the subject. What is important? Search for the verb. What is the verb doing? Verb is doing something to you, you are the object. If you are doing something to the verb, you are the subject. Yeah? Still confused? No? Sure? Aditya? Are you still confused
No,
with
I'm
this?
not confused. Not confused.
So you have to break up the sentence and see who is doing. If you are doing, you are the subject. If somebody else is doing to you, you are the object. So if you are the subject, I, if you are the object, me. Alright? So this is something that is always confusing, and don't get the first answer wrong. Right? Now, him versus he, this and him. The sentiment is really good. Now, his is possessive, yeah, form of he. Him is the objective form. There's a difference between the usage of his and him. this belongs to. When you say belongs to, that is possessive. Belongs to, say, I say this belongs to Aditya. Yeah. So this book is his. Right? This is his book. Give it to Aditya. Give it to him. Right? So when a possessive form comes in, it is his. When objective form comes in, you use him.
And when we say this belongs to him, is that?
This belongs to him. To him. It is his book. Right? When it is a direct possession, his. When you are saying this belongs to, you are making that person the object. Right? So when it comes in as the object, it is him. When it comes in as the possessive, it is his. Right? See, you cannot share that secret with him. Right? What is it? Him. You cannot share the secret. Now you replace, you try to replace the pronoun with the noun. Right? So what comes in? The noun will come in. It is not in the possessive form. Right? Now let's look at this one. Barry keeps insisting that the clock is his, even though it runs away whenever it sees him. Now your noun is Barry. Replace all the pronouns with Barry. So what do you get? Here's Barry. Now, if you say the dog is Barry's, yeah, so it will be his. Even though it runs away whenever it sees Barry, not Barry's. So your possessive replaced with is, objective replaced with him. Right? So no confusion between his and him anymore. Okay, now let's look at this. Joe is a better writer than Bob. Now, will you use he for him to replace Bob? He. Right? So we will not say him over here. Now, if you have referred to Bob earlier in the sentence, we may say him. Like if I say, Bob writes well, but Joe is a better writer than him. But if you don't have a reference, then you will say, Joe is a better writer than him. Right? So it depends upon what comes in. Okay. Now, I hope we're not too fast. Everyone picking up properly? Yes, Agrima? I hope it's not too overwhelming so far. Okay. Keep writing down so that you can get back to your notes and your book. Now, it's all there in your book, maybe some examples here and there, or the order may have changed. Okay, now when you're talking about who, which, and that. Yeah. Who refers to people, as I said. Which and that refer to things or group of things. Right? Okay, let's look at this sentence. Sanya is a sports person who has made India proud. Now we've used who. Right? Who is referring to Sanya. Correct? Yeah. Okay, now let's look at this one. The fifth match, which was played at Delhi, got her the number 1 rank. Now we have which. What was played in Delhi? The fifth match. Fifth match will be which. Right? Now who and whom. That's also sometimes a little confusing. Yeah. So again, we get back to the subject and object. Yeah. Who refers to the subject? Whom refers to the object. Yeah. Let's look at some examples. Who is going to the party? Say I say Preeta is going to the party. So You'll be asking, who is going to the party? Now, whom are you taking to the party? Yes, you are going with somebody. So that becomes the object. You are going to the party, you are taking somebody. That somebody is the object. So even if the whom is placed in the beginning of the sentence, it is still the object. Yeah, because who is the subject over here? You. You are taking Preetha to the party. So the question format comes, whom are you taking to the party? Right? Now we all know who or whom started the trouble. What will you get? Take who or whom? We all know who started the trouble because that will be the subject form. Right? Now another important one is each other and one another. Let's see. So when you're using each other and one another. So when do you use each other? Or just interchangeably? They used to use each other and one another. So when you're referring to two people or two items, then you will say each other. Yeah. So the two people interacting, they're talking to each other. When there are more than two people, one another. Right? So two people, each other, more than two people, one another. So you're talking, say, you have a group project and you have to interact with one another. Just a second. May I get just a little? So let's look at this example. At the campus, I came across my colleague and we complimented each other. So what is your subject over here? Colleague. So I came across my colleague. So you are just two people. Now if you had colleagues, would you use each other? One another. So when you have a plural coming in, there's more than one person, you will use each one another. If there's just one person, each other. Right? Okay, if you look at this, the guests at the party, we're talking about guests at the party. Lots of guests, knew one another. Now, why are we saying one another over here? There are lots of guests. So they knew, say each one knew another person and more. So one another. Okay, let's look at this one. The scientists at the conference were exchanging ideas with each other. Why do we say each other over here? One to one, they were talking. Now you don't talk to all of them together. If you are addressing all of them, fine. Now exchanging ideas. So when you, this is becoming a little specific. Exchanging ideas with each other. Right? So this becomes a little ambiguous, but if you look at it and analyze it a little more, here's where they are testing your analytical skills. Not just grammar, but analysis. What is the situation like? Many scientists talking to each other, right? So they are exchanging ideas with each other. Now we have some problem. Now there may be question sentences, long sentences. Yeah, this is where we say break it down. Now the distance and the between the pronoun and the subject or the noun it is referring to. Maybe quite a bit. Say this with this one. The record player largely fell out of style in the 80s and the 90s, but there has since been a revival in their popularity. Now, what is their referring to? Because they're called players, right? Now, but what do we have over here?
Yes.
We have record player, that is singular. So will there be correct? What should we have? Is, right? So whenever you come up, you have a pronoun in a sentence, especially this is when you have a set those questions where you have to spot the error, right? Your options are just the parts of the sentence. Okay? So when your options are just a part of the sentence, what do you do? Again. Okay. So when what do? You have the parts of the sentence. Now, where can the errors come up? In the pronouns, in the verbs, use of the subject when you are replacing it with something. Yeah. So you look at where your so whenever you have a subject, so the record player, then what are you doing? You're seeing what is it paired up with, what is on the other side, right? So when you look at what is on the other side, you will find what is it talking about. So like here, there is talking of this paired up with not record players, but record player. Around 2 minutes. So
I think the screen share.
can you see the screen now? Yeah, I think it's
Yes,
done.
ma'am.
The internet is quite unstable right now. So when your pronoun and your noun are not put together, they are at two ends of the sentence. You have to first identify what is a pronoun referring to. Singular, you take a singular pronoun. If it is plural, or maybe it is say the gender is different. So depending upon that, you have to figure out. Okay, now when you have the nouns coming before the pronoun, what will you do? Again, you will analyze and see what it is referring to. Right? Say it says the cover, the largest of all. Here you, if you see, there are more than one noun. The cover, the largest of all North American cats, has lost most of their range in the Eastern United States. Now you have the pronoun there. What is it referring to? Is it referring to the cats or is it referring to the cover? It's the cover. Yeah. So anything coming in between will be removed. You will remove that and you will get to the main sentence or the main subject. Right, those things. Now if the pronoun comes before the noun, you may have both the situation. Noun coming before some more nouns in the middle, or the pronoun coming before the noun. Let's look at this. Again, we track down. Now, all you have to do, no matter where your pronoun is and where your noun is, you have to pick up the pronoun, see what it is referring to. That's it. Yeah. Break down the sentence, remove all that is not necessary, track down the noun. So if you look at this one, then you can see. So while it may not be widely associated with long life, ocean plants have been known to live for over 500 years. Is this sentence correct or the next one is correct? Which one of them will be correct? Which one will be correct?
The
So what is your subject? What is the pronoun referring to? Ocean plants. So ocean plants is singular, plural, plural. Your pronoun will be plural, right? Okay, we'll do a few questions. Here are a few fill in the blanks. You can just give me the answers one by one. Between you and dash, he is a liar. Write it down. It gives you clarity. Look at here, between you and I or me. भैया अच्छा इधर इंटरनेट का मेरा लैपटॉप में बहुत प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है कुछ तेरा चेक कर लेना ना सर्वर ठीक है you haven't signed okay so this is a little complicated right
Yes, the subject
so between you and me or between you and I who is the subject? Both of you are subjects. So, subject, I. Right? Between you and I, not you and me. Grammatically, it will be incorrect if we use me. So, here if you look at, both of you are subjects. You and I. Right?
Any situation, any at all, where we can define
That will depend whether somebody is giving you and me something.
So
So if you and me both are in the object category, it will be me. If you are in the subject category, it will be I.
for that, for you and me as subject.
Say he is a liar and he has accused you and me. Right? So he has done something to you. You are the object. So we'll use me. Okay, now let's look at the second one. Let he or him who can save her from drowning. He, right? Subject, right? So here it will be he. Okay, now they have stopped the internet. Okay, now you can still see it on the screen. So the next one, the boy who or whom fell off his bicycle. Who, right? It's not person. Okay, I have not seen the girl who or whose or whose.
Whose.
Whose, right? So,
ये सिर्फ बोर्ड दिख रहा है वो पार्ट नहीं दिख रहा है
वो इधर जो कनेक्शन वीक हो जाता है तो देन इट पास
Hi,
anything
hello. I'm meeting you for the first time. I've met her. I've spoken to Agrima once on phone. Agrima, form भर दिया?
Yes, I filled it.
हाँ, मैं आप लोगों से बात करूंगा. स्नेहा, पाही, राहुल. I'm meeting first time. आदित्य यार कैसे हो तुम? सब ठीक है? ठीक है, तो मैं इनसे बात करूँ. मैडम इसमें ना आपका ये वाला पार्ट जैसे ये अभी तो चालू हो गया है. ये तो
वो बार-बार बंद हो रहा है चालू हो रहा है. So I'm losing time on that. तो वो थोड़ा सा
बंद हो रहा है चालू हो रहा है.
हाँ.
ठीक है. So ये शायद किसी और नेटवर्क से अभी ठीक करवा देते हैं. And can we also start that? नहीं, वो आप नहीं चाहते हो.
नहीं, because then if I start.
Then you'll have to switch.
Yeah.
Every time you'll have to switch when you're. So you'll take one this and ठीक है मैडम. अभी आई करवा.
क्योंकि ब्लैक बोर्ड का रखा है पहले का ब्लैक बोर्ड.
चलेगा. ठीक है.
तो इसका जरा.
हाँ. अभी करवा देता हूँ.
थैंक यू. So we got the boy we did. I have not seen the girl whose Seema is the maid. Who? I have employed Seema. I have employed who? Seema. So here will be who. Possessor, or when it is the object, right? Now look at the next set. This is the paragraph about dash the teacher is asking. So now convert. Now if you are confused, just convert it into a question. Which paragraph? Right? Yes.
प्रॉब्लम होगा तो आप बाहर बताइए
हाँ, because वहाँ पर कोई रहता है नहीं
प्रदीप मैडम को भी बताना होगा
क्योंकि ये about 10-15 minutes में
एक बार बंद हो जाता है
and then फिर से चालू हो जाएगा अपने आप।
हाँ मतलब नेट इशू के लिए बिकॉज़ वो होता तो सबको ये सब बंद होगा Zoom बंद होता है
There's something to do with the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi का issue.
नहीं मैडम वाईफाई का इशू नहीं है बिकॉज़ फिर वो सब कुछ बंद होगा ना आप करिए आप जब वापस होगा तो आप ऑन करते हैं वापस ऑन हो जाता है
Yeah, it's हाँ वापस ऑन हो जाता है।
ठीक है आप करिए अगर कुछ आएगा तो बताना
Right, sir. Okay, now oh, I think I lose. Okay, I'll just read out the types. Okay, now when you're talking about this is the paragraph about that of which the teacher is talking. Which the letter which or what he wrote reached me late. The letter.
What's the other part?
Reached me late. This is becoming a little specific, right? So we would use that. Now when we use
The screen share is turned off again.
yeah, just a moment, I'll just connect back. Bit problem with the sharing. Now, when we are talking about which and that, yeah, we have to see, is it something important or specific? Then we अभी चालू हुआ ये बार-बार गलती हो रहा है संकेत इसमें जब कनेक्ट किया था उसमें कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है कनेक्शन में जो वाईफाई कनेक्ट किया था उसको कनेक्शन इज अनस्टेबल करके बंद होता है फिर अपने आप नहीं So when you're using which and that, what do you see? Anything between which and that? We done it earlier also. Now, when it is something referring to something that is important, you can use that. But there's another thing which you have to take note of. In a sentence, if you have both which and that coming up, one thing that you can check on is between which. Okay, people can see, yeah. So is there a comma coming in? Yeah. So if a comma is coming in before which, it's correct. But if you have a comma before that or after that, that will be wrong. So in any sentence, if you're confused between which and that, see if there's a comma or not. That will never have a comma before or after. Right? And if it is something very specific or important, like if I say, the book that I gave you contains everything. The pen that I received from my father is very important. That is specific. Something that is specific or important, you will use that. But you will also check whether there's a comma or not. If you have a comma before or after, usually before, you won't usually use a comma after which. Yeah. So if you have a comma, you'll use which. If you have a comma before or after that, you will not use that. So if you have a choice between which and that, number one, if it is specific and important, use that. If you have a comma somewhere around that, it's wrong. Never use that. Right? So these are the two things which will help you to choose between which and that. Right? So now if we just look at, go back to the rules, quick revision. So if you have pronouns, what should it match with? Nouns in
Nouns.
gender, and what else? Number, gender, and person. Right? So what do? Identify the subject. Now you have to see if whether the noun is a subject or an object. Yeah. So if it is a subject, say between I and me. If it's a subject, break down. Replace the subject with a noun and see. Is it talking about I or is it talking about me? Anything that comes before the verb will be I. Anything that comes after the verb will be me. So between his and him, this will be. This will not be good. Why will this be good?
Is this possessive?
Yeah. Right? So whether it is possessive or objective, whether it is a subject or an object, that will determine which word or which pronoun comes in. Got it? Okay. Now, okay, now our second part is subject-verb agreement. Yeah. So problem होता है मैं फिर इधर ही connect कर लेती हूँ. और एक काम कर सकते हैं, ये माउस इधर कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं, ये वाला माउस को दे देते हैं। Okay, do you want 2 minutes break? You want to take a water break? Just go through whatever we did so far, whatever you've written down. By the time we get back. Yes. देख लो क्लास में फिर प्रॉब्लम आ गई. Okay, so much. Okay, let's look at this question. Yeah. So you can see the question on the screen. Yeah. It says because the cycle of lunar phases dash 29.5 days to complete, it's possible to observe 2 full moons in a single month. One at the beginning, one at the end. So what is it talking about?
One single cycle.
One single cycle, right? Let's try this question. So takes, right? So this is what we talk about subject and verb agreement. Yes, please. So, now that was a question which I was saying. We come to the subject verb agreement part. So we did the pronoun agreement. Yeah. Now there's another agreement, is a subject verb agreement. So those of you who have done it before. What is subject verb? So the subject and the verb. So when we were talking about the pronouns, there were words also coming in. Yeah. So when we talk about the subject and verb, what do we get? The subject verb. Right? So the subject should can you people hear me?
Yes.
So the subject must agree with the verb in number. Singular subject, singular verb. Plural subject, plural verb. That's the basic rule. So what are you to do? Same way as you did in the pronoun case, identify the subject, the verb, and the object. Yeah. So you have a subject, object. Now here, what is important is what is the subject and what is a verb that is going with that subject. So let's look at this again. The discovery of new medicines were or was vital to the company's growth. What should come?
Was,
Hmm?
was,
Was.
Okay. So what is your subject?
discovery.
Discovery. Your subject is now here. If you see, there are two subjects coming in: the discovery and the medicines. Now, what is your object? Company's growth. Vital to the company. What is vital to the company's growth? Discovery. Yeah. So another thing, if you see, you have now of new medicines. Now another thing you have to remember is when you have this of or anything of that sort coming up, that's a prepositional phrase. That will separate your subject from the preposition. So you have to separate the two. The discovery is your object of new medicines separated. So whenever you get a prepositional phrase of something, from something, separate it or just put a bracket around it. So when you have to put a bracket around it, see where it is going. Now what do you get? Clear? What is your subject? Right? Now here we said that okay, we have a singular subject, singular verb, plural subject, plural verb. You connect the two with and. What do you get? You get a compound subject. You'll have a plural form. So the secretary and the principal, two subjects combined together with and are common. Yeah. Now there's another little trick over here. This sometimes you will do the okay, the prepositional phrase whenever this will come to later again. So whenever you have something like of or for coming in, of something, for something, remove it from the sentence. That is not the subject. Any prepositional phrase is never the subject. Right? So if you're confused, the discovery, you have a lot of subjects coming in over here. The discovery of new medicines, immediately of new medicines, separate from the sentence. So what are you left with? Just the subject, that is the main subject. Okay. Now, when you say the secretary and the principal, here what have we got? So if you see, you have the coming in, the secretary and the principal. Now, suppose we remove this the. Read the sentence. The secretary and principal. Do you find any difference between the two sentences?
Same person.
Same person, right? So when you say the secretary, the principal, when you are using the in front of any designation or something, so like I say, the coach and the counselor means two different people. If I say the coach and counselor, or my coach and counselor, the same person. So this the is very important. So this the is very important. If this the is there, you know there are two different subjects combined together with and it will be plural. If that the is missing, it is one single subject. Okay? Let's look at this one. The doctoral students and the committee members. Two plural subjects combined with and. So whether you have two singular subjects combined with and or two plural subjects combined with and, same thing, plural form. Okay? Now, if you look at this next question. This one, next sentence. The percentage of employees who called in sick and the number of employees who left their jobs within 2 years are reflective of the level of job satisfaction. Quite a big sentence. Identify your subjects. So what is, now if you are looking at this again, rather big, complicated, lots of subjects coming in, separate your main subjects. The percentage and the number. So this of employees who call sick. The number of employees who left their jobs within 2 months, 2 years. Separate them. What do you get? Just the percentage and the number. Right? So this you will be doing it no matter what sentence you get.
It said the percentage of employees who called in sick, would it be is if it says that?
Yeah, if you have just one subject, the percentage of employees who called in sick, then just one. Yeah. So if you have just the percentage of employees who called in sick, it will be is reflective of. Or if you have the number of employees who left their job, then also is reflective. Right? Yeah. And if the singulars are separate, so if the sentence verb didn't have two of them together, only one of the subjects coming in at a time, will have a singular. Yeah. So in that case, your subject is not employees, your subject is the percentage or the number. Right? Okay. Now this is important. We used and. You know, whenever we use and, we combine them together, we get a plural. Now, if your subjects are combined with, as well as, along with, yeah. So then what do you do? Besides. So here we go with the first subject rule. What do you mean by first subject rule? No matter how many subjects you have, one or two or three subjects. First subject determines the verb. So, if the first subject is singular, your verb will be singular. Your first subject is plural, your verb will be plural. Let's look at this one. The candidate along with her supporters. What's your first subject over here? Candidate. Singular leaves the building. So the second subject will not determine the verb. Right? So the second subject is supporters. Now you will not say the candidate along with her supporters leave the building. That will be incorrect. So along with, as well as, with, or besides. Here we have as well as. So if you see, when you sing along with, who is the main subject? The candidate. Yeah? Candidate is going, along with the candidate, somebody else is going. Okay? So if we say the employees of the organization as well as the CEO. What is the main subject? The employees. And as well as. So the employees is the main, as well as the CEO or whoever else. So the first subject is what? Plural. We'll have. Now if we interchange the subjects over here, if I say the CEO as well as the employees of the organization, then your verb will be, yes, fine. What will your verb be? If I say the CEO as well as the employees, then as. Because your first subject is singular, right? Now here we have besides. All the dresses besides Rita's. First subject is dresses. Yes, Aditya?
You are on the 13th slide on the screen share. Are you on the next slide where you referred the sentence? Because we are seeing the
screen is not being
Yes,
shared?
ma'am. You cannot see the sentence.
Okay, just a moment. Can you see it now?
Yes.
yes, ma'am.
I'm talking about all the dresses. So we have all the dresses besides Rita's. Again, first subject, plural, verb, plural. plural. Now, when we use correlative conjunction, what are correlative conjunctions? When you have either or, neither nor, or, so. Yeah, those are correlative, where there are two conjunctions coming in together. So whenever you have that, what will you do? Again, you will identify the subjects. Two singular subjects, singular verb. Say we have either Crystal or Julia. Now we have either or coming in. So break it up. Crystal wants to come, Julia wants to come. Two together in either or singular, right? Neither the city nor its constituency as singular. Two singular subjects joined by either or, neither nor, or so, any of the correlative conjunctions, singular subject, singular verb. Now suppose you have two plural subjects, plural verb, right? So everyone can see the screen as we go, no problem? Okay.
Yes.
So we have neither the teachers nor the students who are present, right? Simple. Now we come to, if you have one singular subject and one plural subject, what will you do? First. First subject. No. First. Here you will come to the closest to the verb. Yeah. So either or, neither nor, always closest to the verb. So if you're confused, you have two singular subjects, two plural subjects, one singular, one plural. Always remember any correlative conjunctions, that is conjunctions coming in pairs, either or, neither nor, or so. The subject closest to the verb. Right? So here is not the first subject. First subject rule is only in, as well as, along with, besides, with. Yeah. Here we have a second subject rule. That is the closest to the verb. Say we have this one. Neither he nor his sisters were there. Suppose I interchange the subjects of the verb. Neither his sisters nor he. This will be was there. Right? Either they or he is telling the right. So let's look at this one. Neither a simple request nor impassioned pleas. Affect or affects. What is the subject closest to the verb? Now, affect is the verb we can see over here. What is closest? Impassioned pleas. That is plural. You need a plural. Yeah. So, whenever you have correlative conjunctions, subject closest to the verb. Yeah. Simple rule you have to remember. Say the student or the committee. And we have or. Now they omitted the either. You can say either student or neither student or the committee members. And we have committee members. Correct? Right? Yeah. So write everything.
Ma'am, could you go back to the previous slide 1 second?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to write the last point. 1 second.
So if you have one singular, one plural subject with either or, neither nor, second subject will determine the verb. You can just write that much. Yeah. You have the rules in your book also.
All right.
So you can revise from there if you miss out on anything.
Okay. Could you repeat the statement that you just said?
Which one?
The second subject thing.
Okay. So now you can just remember one thing, that whether you have two singular, two plural, or one singular, one plural, with either or, neither, no, any of those correlative conjunctions coming in, the second subject or the subject closest to the verb. You can just write out the subject closest to the verb will determine the verb. If the closest to the verb is singular, your verb is singular. If the closest to the verb is plural, your verb is plural.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So now another thing that comes in is when you have something like each one. You feeling sleepy? Okay, each one, everyone, anyone. So whenever you get these words, you have to be alerted. What does that mean? The verb will be singular. Right? Our verb will be singular. Say you have no smoking or drinking. Yeah, just no has come. So you will treat the smoking or drinking again singular. Yeah, singular verb. Every man and woman. Don't get misled by the and. You have to be alert when every has come in. Now, when you say every man and woman, what do you mean? Each one of them. So verb will be singular, right? Each of the boys. What are you saying? Not all the boys, each one of them. Verb is singular. I offer a $5 gift card to everybody who participates in this time. Everybody, each one of them, right? No one was available. Again, no one. So singular. Yeah. So whenever you come across any of these words, remember verb is always singular. Now we come to gerunds. Sometimes you will have words. What are gerunds? Words ending with ing, which seem to be verbs but are used as nouns. Like swimming, running, singing is my hobby. Verb is always singular. Yeah, you'll never have a plural verb with a gerund. Infinitives are to-do verbs. But those two, they seem to be verbs, but they're not treated as verbs. So, say to visit the Grand Canyon is my lifelong dream. Always use it that way. So just remember, if are comes in with such sentences, it's wrong. You'll always have the singular. Okay, again we have this one. Two singular nouns referring to the same person. Remember we had the sentence the principal and the secretary, where it was two different people. The principal and secretary means same person, singular verb. Yeah. Okay, another thing, when you have two verbs representing the same idea. Yeah, like bread and butter, law and order. They're treated as one subject, right? Always be singular. Now, when you're talking about collective nouns, always singular. The town council, singular. Yeah. The group, team, always singular. Right? The jury, singular. Yeah, collective noun. The chain of large businesses vows to stop poaching clients from smaller stores. What is the subject over here? The chain. Yeah, again you have of large businesses, remove it. Your main subject is the chain. Erica's family is, yeah, collective. Okay, now indefinite pronouns, a lot of, a great deal of, plenty of, most of, some of. How do you use this? Singular or plural? Yes? Plural? Confusing, right? Depends, right? So if it refers to an amount which you can't count, uncountable, then you take it as singular. If it refers to a number which you can count, it will be plural. Right? So if you can count whatever the subject is, you will go with a singular verb. If you can't count, you will go with a plural verb. Say some entertainment. Entertainment, can you count entertainment? No. Right? So singular. Some guests, you can count the guests. So plural. A lot of work. Can you count work? And you can say, I have 2 things to do. But in that work, can you count how much you did? No, right? So can't count, singular. A lot of people, you can count the people. Yeah, work present. Another thing that you have to take note of is this. Now, when you have acronyms, it becomes confusing sometimes. What to use, right? So, what will you use when you have acronyms? Again, usually singular, but it again depends. So, you are talking about a country's GDP. GDP is singular. Gross domestic product, singular. RPM of a motor. Rotations per minute. So it comes in as a singular unit. Yeah, it will be single. Now let's look at this one. ITS, expanded to Information Technology Services. That will be taken as plural. Right? So when you have an acronym, if it is expanded for you, good. If it is not expanded, usually you'll get something you know about. So you'll see, is it used as singular or is it used as plural? Right? What's the time? We are not using It's 12 past. Okay. We have another class of this. Okay, so when you have majority coming in, there are 2 cases. Just majority and majority of something. How do you use them? So when you say only majority, you will say the majority comes in as singular. Majority of something will be plural. Right? So when you have majority, you see, is it of something or just majority? Okay. Now, Just look at the next two examples. The majority of those samples. Now here what is determining? You have majority of, but you have to look a little further. What is the subject? Subject is plural or singular?
Subjects. Because the majority.
The first one, subject is plural. Second one, subject is singular. Right? So even after you have, now usually the majority, now if you look at the previous sentence, there's majority of voters. Right? Plural. But in these two sentences, if you see the difference is, one is samples, one is just sample. So when you say the majority of samples, that is between all the samples. So is plural. Now if you read the second sentence carefully, the majority of the sample, you have one sample. And you say the majority of that sample. So single. Right? So you have to read your sentences very carefully. So you said, okay, does the majority of plural? No. You have to look at what the subject is. Okay, now we come to a number of and the number of. Again, a little confusing. So the number of is specific, singular. A number of is wider plural. Yeah. So a number of boys were absent. Quite a few boys. Yeah. So a number of boys means quite a few boys. So you will say were absent, plural. The number of specific. The number of boys that was absent is 2. Okay. So our subject is the number of singular. Got it? Yeah. Bye.
Yes.
Now abstract concepts. Abstract nouns are always singular, no matter what. Right? Say education, information, research. Education is the key to success. You won't say education now. Yeah, we usually use them like that, but we have to remember the rules. Information, lots of information, still singular, is available on the internet. Right? The research is singular. So any abstract noun will be singular. Now, when you come to numbers, percentages, or proportions, depends upon what the subject is, right? Now, 25% of the measurements. So here, 25% is not important, measurements is important. Over 300 civilians reside. Now, suppose you didn't have the subject. Yeah. Say $1,000. Dollars when you're talking about single entity. Yeah, currency, single entity. Now, if you look at the next one, in fact, 63% is better result than expected. 63% is in itself a subject. So a percentage as a subject or a proportion as a subject, singular. Correct? Lots of things to remember. Okay, now if you have the verb, if the subject comes after the verb. Okay. We'll just finish up this page and this slide and then we'll wrap it up. Now, all this time you were talking about the subject coming before the verb. Yeah, the subject comes after the verb. What do you do? Get confused? So, identify the subject. Simple as that. What is the verb talking about? Or who is doing? So, where is the action? Just remember that much. See, we say there are many gaps in the literature. What is there? Gaps. Gaps is plural? They are. There is little administrative support. Subject is administrative support. Right? Separating the roles was or were a concrete medium.
Was.
What is the subject? Concrete medium. What is doing the work? Concrete medium. Right? So you just have to see what is doing the work. Let's look at this one. So this is what we were talking about, a phrase coming in the middle, which we can remove. So if you see, usually how do you identify a phrase which is not important? 2 commas. So Istanbul, comma, the most famous of all European cities, comma. So you know what is the subject? Istanbul. Yeah. So you will have a singular phrase, singular verb. Now prepositional phrases we were talking about earlier. The sound of the trumpets. Remove the preposition phrase. You get your subject, the sound. So the sound is singular, right? So the subject will never, like we said earlier also, the subject is never a part of the prepositional phrase. So now there's certain, okay, I'll do one thing. We just do these 2 sentences. I'll share the PPT with you so that you can do the other exercises. Yeah. So if you look at these 2 sentences. Strategies that the teacher uses to encourage classroom participation include using small groups and clarifying expectations. Is it correct?
Yes.
Was the verb is include. Was the subject strategies plural? Yeah. Okay. The focus of the interviews was 9 purposely selected candidates. Verb is was. Subject is the focus. They match. Singular, singular. Okay, let's do this one and then the rest you can do this. Read the sentence carefully. Identify the subject. Your verb is in bold. You have to select the correct verb. This is where you have to simplify your sentence, break it down.
Were. Oh, I'm so sorry. Was.
Was. So what's your subject?
A pack.
A pack. Okay. Let's see if it's correct. What do you think? You say was. What's your subject? You feel like it was. You're taking a wild guess.
Yeah, because I feel like it fits with this.
You don't go with a gut feeling. You have to know what you're talking about. So, Aditya, can you explain why you said a pack?
The collective noun.
It's a collective noun, but why did you specify that a pack is your subject?
Because it is the I don't know. I just knew that it is a correct subject. So it's after
Okay.
the verb.
Now let's read the sentence and remove whatever is not important. So besides the bin, there is something is there beside the bin. Yeah. Where one could smell the stench of rotten eggs, we can remove, not required. Was a pack of philosophy majors gathering cans for recycling. So somebody was gathering cans for recycling. Who? A pack of philosophy majors. Now, what do you have? Of. So, will your subject be a pack of philosophy majors, or you can break it down further?
But philosophy majors is a group doing a similar action, right? They're not.
A pack of philosophy majors. Yeah. Remove something more of philosophy majors. Remove it. What are you left with? A pack. So now, Aditya, you got it? Your subject is just a pack. Because a pack of something. So of something is a prepositional phrase you can remove. Right? So the whole sentence breaks down to a pack was doing something. A pack means a group, collective noun, single. Right? Got it? Okay, I think we'll stop here. So what you will do is, I will share the PPT maybe on the WhatsApp group. Everyone is on the WhatsApp group? Right? Okay. So if you are not, then you can ask Surjit ma'am to, or Harsha ma'am, you have a phone number in the group, just ask her to add it. And the rest of the sentences you will try, but before doing the rest of the sentences, revise the rules. Yeah, the rules are in your book, and there are some more exercises. Maybe those who have come new can do this. Those who have done it before or may have not done it before. Do you remember doing the exercises? So these are new set of sentences that will come over here. So everyone do it. Yeah. So I'll meet you again on Thursday.
Ma'am, do you plan to complete one session in a day and like that?
Yeah.
So how many days will it take to require?
So I'm planning, if we can go fast, we will be completing the grammar portion in 3 days, and then we will go on to sentence. No, then we do the exercises of sentence correction. Yeah, plus dictionary. So we have to be sure about a grammar rules. So this is one portion where you cannot make mistakes. Yeah, so you know that I know my grammar rules. Sure shot, I get 6 to 7 questions correct. Right? Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Anybody, if you come across any doubts, write them down. We'll discuss in the next class. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, Agrima, you followed everything, I hope?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the questions of practice questions.
You have like you have this book called, what's his name? Arun Sharma.
Yeah, Arun Sharma.
Arun Sharma.
He has a verbal ability.
Yeah, the verbal ability is separate.
Yeah, I have.
It's the cat. It's for the cat, but you can still use it.
There are, I think, there are 3 difficulty levels.
Yeah, so you can use this the first two. Yeah. Some of the questions like in the comprehension one maybe you will not be able to do, but the rest you will be.
In these topics, which would you think are the most essential for me to practice more to get me to practice?
See, here till here are the grammar rules.
This is theory for
Yeah.
me to be sure about my words.
Yes, of course, you need to be
Yes.
sure about the rules. Yeah, and then these are the vocabulary rules. And here you start off with your applying your vocabulary rules. Yeah, this is your, no, here is your grammar rules. These are applying your vocabulary rules. And then you come to para completion, para rules. and your second volume after that. Yeah, so here, whatever practice exercises you haven't completed, you do. Yeah, and before that, go through the grammar. Okay, thank you. Okay, 6 to 15. Yeah, you can go to the recorded, and if you have any doubts, you can solve them again. Yeah. Will be continued. We can continue. Try not to miss any of the lectures now. So you'll be able to keep up with pace. I hope everyone followed what we did today. Was it too much confusing? No. That's it.